Good evening, this is Kara with the Ministry of Uncover No More. I have a lot of relationships just in the course of one family, because we're a large family. I have a lot of relationships that I have lost in the course of this life in its entirety. Because of where the Christian nation is right now, and that is in sin, it is putting a lot of us in a position to either deny our true morality, whether we're Christian or not, or be willing to accept things that we shouldn't accept as a whole, as a Christian nation, as the Christian nation. I am being pulled by the Christian nation just because of my history. I was in churches since I was 7 years old. Therefore, the removal of the doctrines off of me, my parents were Pentecostal, charismatic types. My mother hid her entire childhood from me. I am finding out from one of my children and a dear friend of mine things that she told other people but specifically told not to be told to me. And she did that all her life, all of her life. And I thought some of the ways I was being treated the past 12 years is because of my testimony about the King of Kings as the ministerial author of Uncover No More. Now, my bookmaking now is a scribe. If you have to go read or watch the movies of things like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter to understand that we are out there, spiritualists are out there, and that's not fairy tale. I actually write books. I have a dear friend now who equally writes books, and we are both solitary pagans because people misunderstand us so much and misunderstand our spiritualism that we are outcasts. At least they don't kill us in this day and age in the United States of America, but they're still killing people. If you were to go check out uncoverednomore.blog tonight, I quickly put up easily from my Twitter ministry the blog article about Breonna Taylor. I have destroyed my work over and over again. Breonna was featured on my blog more than once, 2 or 3 times. The foundation of my uncoverednomore.blog this year is Bernie Sanders' book. And there are reasons for that which are keeping me safer. I have now come to the place where I can stop hitting delete because I broke through with that, and I also broke through for 8 women in the United States of America. And that's my daughters and I. On blogs. I haven't finished the artwork. You don't know my private ministry to my family. Please keep that in mind, America. If you think you're a spiritualist, you probably aren't. But if you think you are, keep in mind that you do not know how I am having breakthroughs, and you never did. So, rejoice with me if you can. I know no one who is willing to rejoice with me except for my children, some of my children. Others of my children are still struggling with what happened to us. I have a very dear couple of 3 baby boomers in my life, still alive and well. We fellowship together. They are Christians. None of my children are professing Christians. All of my children have been baptized. I will be damned if they get this wrong as far as their spirituality. So I'm going to talk about something because this very special baby boomer in my life conceded the point finally. This one likes to argue. So many Christians and post-Christians argue, and they don't even know what they're doing. They're frustrated because they're having a hard time getting in touch with their spirituality. Most, if not all, of their doctrine has passed away, and they don't know what to do with it. I strongly recommend that you become a pagan if you're a post-Christian. I don't care which church you go to church. Don't get into their politics. Should you tithe? None of my business. I have my way of tithing. It's really quite funny. My whole life is a tithe. There's a lot of Christian girls, post-Christian girls, pagan girls who realize I was pagan more than I was Christian, and as you came out of that hellhole, several hellholes. They're cultish churches, still controlling people, and particularly women. They don't deal with their sin too very well now, do they? No, they don't. Christians don't. They're so uppity, nanny boo-boo. The King of Kings is he's kind of done with all the doctrines. They don't know how to drop doctrine is the problem with Christians. They don't know how to evolve. They really don't. So that's their business, not mine. But I actually had a point conceded today. And I had made the point on a blog. This person, I had told them point blank today, because of all the negativity that this one is still struggling with. You know, you really, my blogs are at the point where they're understandable and readable. If you really want to know who I am, then you probably better, you know, my YouTubes, my blogs, not my Twitter. Twitter is weird, but that doesn't mean I'm leaving. Here it is, and I'm going to probably get a lot of people angry at me right here, and I don't fucking care. Because what I do care about are all my children, but particularly my daughters, have been hurt. And hurt. And hurt. And hurt with their mother. And that is not uncommon in the Christian world. So you can go fuck yourself if you have a problem with that. Because if there is one thing that Christianity does not know how to do, it is respect and treat properly the authority of the woman's place. None. You don't. You have failed so miserably since 1930. You have failed every woman who is an American citizen, and you continue to do that. And you have no idea what you're doing. No idea. Christianity of America. And your disease just spreads. Well, if there's one woman in the United States of America, born and bred here, that you could get in the room and ask and beg and help and clean my house and support my ministry, it'd be Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncover No More, because I can tell you what to do. I can equally respect every man in your place, but I can look at a few of them or a lot of them and say, you need to get the fuck over yourself. She should have divorced you by now. Yeah, I can do those things. But you don't trust me. So there you have it. You lost me. Therefore, you lost the king in America. I don't think American Protestant or Catholic Christianity realized that the past 13 years. I'm in a much safer and better and happier place now that you lost me. Out of respect, I have announced it on my blogs that I will go. If I go, I have one church, and it will be the last Sunday, Omega, of I Am. I was getting pulled again to go under submission because things had gotten so hard for me. That is the last thing I need to do. I just need to continue to learn to be a solitary pagan. I'm a perfect Christian, so you can go fuck yourself if you think I'm not. That isn't what the Christian church needs to learn from me, is how to be a Christian. That is the last thing you need to learn from me. Yeah. Anyway, not that you would ever submit yourself to a woman, you asshats. You're so full of yourself. Your men are so full of yourself. It's a miracle I don't hate men, and I don't. I don't. And I don't know who believes me, because you know what men like, Christian men? They either want to be able to say that women hate them, or they want them to hate themselves and do exactly what they expect them to do. Whatever. You are not going to get your way more and more and more, because if there's one thing that I know for a fact, the King of Kings is male, not female. But there is a lot of female out there that does the King of Kings a hell of a lot better than the men in the room. If he disagrees with me privately, he can tell me that later. I ain't backing down. That's my opinion, and I've probably been in your churches longer than you understand for me to be able to say that. Been kicked out of a few too, and that definitely isn't my fault. That's called capitalism. I'm bad business. Okay, so here is what I told this very dear baby boomer in my life after I wrote the concept on a blog, and it's still there if you want to go find it. I don't ever have to fall in love with my 10 children, nor they me. I carried them in my womb. And I looked at this person and I said, you know, I think all men, or most men, are jealous of this fact. And I am not talking about adoption loves. That is a different kind of love. I'm talking about biological women who have born children, biologically born children for man or men. And this is not true for the man. You did not grow them in your body, much as you wished you did, because you are so fucking independent in the United States of America, and particularly if you're Christian men and probably Muslim men. I'm just up to here with the idea of independence. I'm done with it. There is no such thing, you fucking idiots. There's no such thing. You... Damn it, that's the truth. But here's the truth about biological mothers. We don't fall in love with those children. And they don't fall in love with us. We're just in love. Period. It's the only relationship that's true. Rest of them, you got to make a free will choice. Even the woman that has to give a child up for even the woman that has to give up a child for adoption, or has to take the child out of her body, for whatever reason. And I'm pro-life, and I think a woman should have the choice. So you, Christianity, Catholicism, you go fuck yourself. You change your attitude about a woman. But let me tell you something. Those women suffer forever that they couldn't spend time with that baby. I don't care how much they rail at the society. There's a part of them that's crying until they get above and spend time with that child. I got 2 of them. They're in heaven. You go read Heaven is for real. It's for real. I got 2 children, 2 of my 10 on the other side. I will quote my child who just turned 20 that I popped out in my living room accidentally, 45. That was the only birth I had that was just like mine. I was 45 minutes of labor. Came out real easy, and this one did too. But it just happened to be in the living room. Not a big deal. I am good, this one told me, and I was like, stop the car. We need to go dance or something. This one smiled because they all know I'm just like that. I can start free dancing at any moment. I try not to embarrass people. But there it is. When it's time to rejoice, rejoice. Yeah. Anyway, I'm good. But then I wanted to tell you what this one told me, leaning up against the car as I sat there trying to learn from this one. How did you get there? How did you understand that? Because this one had been verbally abused too much. Negativity, not by me, others. And I'm not going to tell that story. That's our business, how we love each other. Me and my kids. Forever. It's just a lot of work. Now, are you ready to work with the King of Kings and my son? Most of you gonna say no. You'd rather be independent and right. When you got correct, male and female, all skin colors, knowing we are not independent of one another, right here, right now, in the United States of America. You've got that, and you're still pulling shit. So, Mama, take heart. We're the ones. That's one choice that we don't have to make. We just love them. Deep inside, as long as you're not a murderous mom, and there are those. Melania Trump's one. She's more interested in the dollar bills than she is her child. Women make those choices. I'm talking about the real ones. We just stay there and we get going. We have to let some kids loose. They just go and be crazy, take drugs, ruin their lives. And maybe mom was a part of that, maybe not. I don't know. I do not know. I simply don't know. I'm certainly not the perfect mother, but I have come to appreciate that point with what happened to me. I hope that comforts some women, because it's rough on us sometimes. And at other times we make it harder, and I try to improve that. Matter of fact, I told one of my children, adult children today, look, I was an only child after the age of 14 because my brother died. And he died twice and fully when I was 14. But I'm not a sibling of these kids, but sometimes it's like I'm a child understanding how they relate to each other and how they relate to other people, because I was an only child after 14, and I was primarily taking care of my parents a lot of times. that's something that I will be coming out in my testimony is how my parents needed me, and it caused schisms in my life. How they needed me in the Christian church. Had we not gone into the strict Christian church, my life story would have been different with my parents. But that's not reality. So I'm going to have to share the reality, because I had another child tell me, I wouldn't, why are you okay with your upbringing, Mom? Because my kids view my upbringing as tragic. And I don't. I never did. But I can see why they're thinking that. And actually, since I cried so much the past 12 years, understanding the calling on my life, understanding how I was going to have to prepare my family for what we found out about our family and everything. I had to, because I was like, no, I don't have a problem. I had to text with that child and tell her the truth. This is an adult child. I said, I did mourn and rage at my upbringing and how it was and how my mom, I did, and it took about 3 years, and I just had to keep going. I was hurting on many different levels, in my emotions and my spirit's life, and even in my body. There were things, I had acne coming forth. I was going through menopause. I'm not anymore. So a lot of that's behind me. But I had to be honest with her. I did have to deal with how my upbringing was not what I wished. I wished if I could do anything over again, it would be all 10 of my children's upbringing, not be in the Christian world, but not deny the King of Kings or my spirituality, because I could have done that as a pagan. I could have done that as a pagan, but it wouldn't. The children wouldn't be those children, because we met and married in the Christian church. It would have been sin for me to even keep my name. And I've thought about changing my name back to Beaty just because I felt so controlled after the fact. And, 28 years married or something after the fact. It's just like, oh, Christian religion is just so, it just chokes the life out of you. And you don't even know it. You don't even know it. I told somebody today, see, it would have been sin for me, like, to read self-help books and everything for so much of my life, to answer questions myself about my spirituality, about anything, to answer questions of myself. That's how submission is taught in the Christian church. That's how women are not allowed to think for themselves at all, period. At all, period. And they want to point fingers at, like, the Muslims. They've got a lot of changing to do. It's not my business. I need to move on. Please remember, women, all women, your relationships with your children, only with you. And I wouldn't suggest you talk about this, because some men are very jealous of this, and they're very angry, and they will get harder on you and the kids in their mentality if you point this out. This came out accidentally out of my truths coming forth. All glory to Lord. Lord, I am. That is one relationship that you do not choose, and they don't choose you. Make the most. I can start crying. You make the most of your relationship with your children, and don't worry about the rest. Try not to spoil them. Do comfort. Do require obedience as you can. Just keep boundaries. And if you don't allow that beauty in your life, a woman, you are just as golden beautiful, and And you can find friends where you bond together in mother-child love, child-mother love. I want women to understand that we can do this. We can show people mother-child, child-mother love, where it's not actually a choice, we need each other. We don't believe in independence. We don't believe in squashing one to raise another. We believe in raising one another up, nurturing one another, and succeeding together. That's universalism. And it is only women who can do that kind of house church. Men are going to have to take a backseat, particularly if they're older. Boys, it's fine. Men, nah. You're going to have to learn to shut up and be led. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this one, but it's a good one. And you saw me cry with the truth and how far flung so many people are in the United States of America. I'm by myself in my car. I'm going to leave now. So, a place that I got some clarity on some of my blog work, my ministry life. So, that's positive. I'm just more and more having to come to grips with the fact that I can't ever be a part of any church or organization anymore. That's a solitary pig. Learning to be alone like that, but also appreciate the relationships that have invested in me and I in them, even when things got hard, and hope again that we will have our beautiful times restored. Even though Christianity did this to us as a family, because Christianity did this to us as a family. So it's quite difficult to understand, isn't it? There's many mothers who are. If I wished something went viral in churches, it would be this. I want to see the women crying and saying, she's correct, and what are you guys gonna do about it? You've really fucked it up. Catholic Church, how about this instead of Mass? You can't even throw child molesters to jail. Whoa, you are so far gone. My heart hurts, my heart hurts, my heart hurts because the children are left floundering with their spirituality. That's not wholeness. My love's spiritual, that's not wholeness. You're more concerned about the buildings and adherence to a faithfulness that has nothing to do with the truth of faithfulness in all churches that I know of. So, goodbye is what I'm having to say tonight. Okay.